you believe that we started recording right in the middle of 2020 with all of the COVID and lockdowns going on around us, unable to meet up? So like many a young gentleman, we turned to the internet for our entertainment. Tried to find a place where we could meet up and talk about the good, the bad, and that time that Stu saw a pelican on the canal. In order to facilitate our dreams of answering all of the big questions in film, and after a few attempts at recording via other methods to various levels of success, we found Zencastr, a super easy web-based one-stop shop for recording. Log in and you're ready to record in a matter of seconds. It doesn't take a tech genius to get high quality audio or video. And on top of that, the one time we have had an issue, the fact that the multi-layered backups are stored locally means it's easily fixed all in browser. There are plenty of tools you need when you start podcasting, so let Zencastr take that headache away as it offers a place to record, edit and distribute all from one website. Any lazy bones Jones can pick up and play and have studio quality audio or 4K video put out for the world to see when using Zencastr. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code CAGEFIGHTING and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. We want you to have the same easy experiences we do for all our podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. And now, hit the music. Hello and welcome to Cage Fighting. It's your main man Andy Gillard here. Hope you're all keeping well in the world right now.
Merry Christmas, everyone. And you can't have a go at me this week for saying it. Welcome back.
We joined with Ed this week for our Christmas run-in. Hi Ed, how are you doing?
Yeah, all the better for talking Christmas. I think Stu might actually take my crown of being more Christmas. I didn't think I'd meet another grown man that was more Christmassy, but I think Stu might win it.
I mean, there is so much fucking tinsel in just that.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I know I've lost.
Yeah, I dread to think if you turn that camera around, what the rest of that room must be like.
You know what it is, though, because I sent it you last time.
True. Yeah,
There's fake snow on. The fact that I went in the loft and got a piece of wood so that I could put my Christmas train on because the new subwoofer, the new soundbar I've got is too deep onto the desk. So I had to extend the desk out with some loft layering. And so I could build my little Christmas scene. But yeah, we're going to go into our ailments from last week because it was.
We've had a week of it, haven't we? I mean, to be fair, mine was just like this really sore throat that then just kept fucking morphing into something, and I've felt like shit for pretty much a fortnight at this point. I'm slightly feeling better now, though, thankfully, but I don't think it's anything compared to what you've been through, to be honest. Shit, like you've proper been in the wars lately.
I mean, it was chaotic. Let's be honest. I mean, I can't be ill just normally, can I? I got to just have a single thing wrong with me. So, as everyone else, when the incident when I smashed my head off the Aldi floor 2.5 years ago, the result of that was a big bruise on my face, but it did crack one of my teeth. So I thought, okay, that's not great. What can you do with that? You can't put a bit of polyfiller on it. So inevitably, that tooth was going to get knackered eventually. So further down the line, I just wake up one morning. I think this was about 12 months ago. It was before last Christmas anyway. I just wake up in the middle of the night, cough, and then half a tooth falls out. You think, oh, well, that's not ideal, but it doesn't hurt. I'll put it on the side. Didn't get a pound when I woke up, unfortunately. But there we are. And then, all of a sudden, after last Saturday's collapse, when it could have been Wolves induced, when it took everything else is Gary O'Neill's fault. Mm-hmm. So I just started having a massive ache in my face, and I thought, oh, this ain't great. So I went to the chippy, had a kebab as usual, blah, blah, blah. And then I just had to put a hot water bottle on my face, and because it was really hurting. And I thought I might have just had too much chili or something like that. It might have been one of them things. I woke up Sunday morning really bad. So then in the end, I ended up having to ring 111 on the Monday to then get to an emergency dentist appointment, which I got on the Tuesday. And I thought, I'm still going to Everton away. Nothing's going to stop me. So went to this dentist, and he was a Camp Brummy dentist, and something I never thought I'd experience in my life, but it was. in Blakeney, of all places. So again, our friends from India, look it up. And so I walked in, and he was like, "What can I do for you?" And I said, "Well, part of my tooth's broken off. I think it's probably infected now, and it's probably gonna have to come out." And well, sit right here, sir. Exactly like that. He was like albumin off that Rick Mail thing on ITV years ago. So
Fucking throwback.
yeah, the three of us in Goldie remember it. But so I sat there, and he was looking, and he went, "Yeah, your hypothesis is correct. The tooth is damaged, but it is actually rotting away. So you will have to easy to take it out." And he was like, What is the pain level on a 1 to 10? I went, "Well, it's 10 bad." He went, "10 is always bad." Okay, probably about a 7 then. And he went, "Oh, that's interesting. I know what I can give you." And then he said, "But in the next 10 days, are you going to consume alcohol of any kind?" I went, "Well, I'm going to Everton away tomorrow." And he kind of wisped his hand like he was throwing a wand spell at me like Harry Potter, and "No alcohol." And I went, "No, it's I guess that if you're giving me some hardcore super drugs here." He went, "Oh, they're not hardcore, they're just okay. But you can't drink on them because it won't work and it'll hurt." Went, "Oh, well, I'll just have a Guinness Zero and then it's sound." He went, "Guinness Zero is sound. It is the best of the zeros. It's better even than Heineken." I was thinking, "What on earth is happening here?" So I went over the road to get the stuff, and it was like, I had to sign for it and everything. It was that bad. And then I obviously went to Everton, and £5, 5p for a can of Guinness Zero, which, by the way, is better than Coke, I suppose. And I have stocked up on the stuff, and and then I left the painkillers on the couch, didn't I? So come the last half hour of that game, 3-0 down, 2 degrees, absolutely pissed off, and then my face started to hurt. I thought, this day can't get any better. And then they conceded the fourth, and then we had the last 15 minutes singing about the glory days of 6 years ago. So, so then I couldn't speak again Wednesday night, Thursday morning until things started down. But now I'm back, and everyone's happier. So, and I managed to somehow managed to get an NHS dentist to sort it all out. I don't know how that happened, but there we are.
It's your penance for what you had to go through, mate.
Yeah, the Christmas miracle.
Yeah.
Dear God. Well, I mean, we're here now. I mean, the Musicast episode, like, fuck knows when that's really coming out at this point. I feel awful because I've had to listen to that dreadful fucking album at least 3 times that Matt recommended to us. I can't remember what it was called. I hated it that much. And Matt knows that I hated it, in fairness, but
Well, you didn't enjoy Crush on You?
that was the highlight. So, Ed, this was like, not drum and bass, but it was like some kind of dancey nonsense. I can't describe it, but it's very much not my kind of music. But one of them was like a pseudo cover of Crush on You, which is an 80s song, is it, Stu? Is it 80s? And like, that's the only one that was vaguely tolerable, just because I recognised that one line in the song. It's not good. I'll send you a link to it, mate, and you can...
feel free. I don't think... There's a lot of things me and Matt do vibe on, but I don't think music's one of them.
Yeah, it was a bit like screamy.
No.
A bit of dubstep, a bit of all that kind of thing. I strangely enjoyed some of it. Some of it was fucking shit.
Yeah, but we know all about your tastes, mate. So,
like, I wouldn't have thought this would be the kind of thing that Matt would be into, because it was more electronica stuff than it was, thrashing guitars and that. So I was a little bit shocked. I'll tweet it out if I can remember it, and I'll send you the link, Ed. And I just can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but
It's Nero.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's an album called Welcome Reality by Nero. Awful. Absolutely awful. Anyway, so for the next 3 weeks, we're going to be doing the past, the present, and future of Christmases. So obviously, that leads us up. The last episode, I think, is going to be going out on the 24th of December. So we're doing a Christmassy. Didn't we do a Christmas Day one last time? Shit.
And people listen to it.
They did. Were you one of them, Ed?
Yeah, I did doing the washing up.
Absolutely,
Headphones on.
Yeah. I suppose someone had to, but yeah, I was kind of surprised when I saw numbers on there on the day on Christmas Day. I was like, even I'm not listening to it on Christmas Day. That's ridiculous.
Me and my pals from India that I've passed it on to.
I've never done washing up on Christmas Day. Never done anything. It's just I know I've gone into work once, but I went in on Christmas Eve night because it was double pay for 3 hours and covered one for one of the cleaners. And I basically did only 3 hours work, which was effectively 6. Absolutely smashed. They knew I was smashed, but no one else would do it. So I went, "Oh, go on then." Look, got home at 3:30. Sound still there doing any washing up though.
Job done. Fucking hell. Mad. Right, so we've got a couple of questions each week. So obviously this is the first one then. So we are looking at Christmas past. So what is the best Christmas film that was released before you were born? Ed, tell us what year you were born first and make us feel really bad about ourselves.
It's not that different. Mine's 1985. I think we're 83 and 84. Are we? In 85, is it?
83s, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, early 85, February 85. So
That's not
yeah.
too bad then.
No. And when I was looking at, because my one answer is going to be one of my favorite, which is "It's a Wonderful Life," which is just amazing,
Yeah.
and probably doesn't need that much talking about. But then my other one is Gremlins, which is 83, so just before I was born.
Yeah, I think it's the 40th anniversary of its release in the UK. Because obviously it was 83, but it was the States, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think today, which is the 8th of December, at time of recording, it's the 40th anniversary, either today or yesterday.
So it still sneaks in for me just about.
Yeah.
You were about 2 or 3 months behind when I was born, but yeah. So It's a Wonderful Life, which I only first watched about 4 years ago. And to do my usual shoehorn in a Simpsons referencing, I didn't realise that there's a It's a Wonderful Life reference in The Simpsons, which I've laughed at for the last 30 years when they're talking about money being in other people's houses. And then Mo starts an argument in a bank because he says, "Why is all my money in Bill's house?" Didn't know that was from It's a Wonderful Life until watching it 2 or 3 years ago. And I've watched it every Christmas since. It's a wonderful movie. And Gremlins is just an 80s classic.
Well, you've stolen my answer because I was going for It's a Wonderful Life as well.
Or we could talk about it together.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's such a wonderful film. And I think we've mentioned it on this podcast before, but it's kind of amazing. I didn't see it until probably 4 or 5 years ago myself either. But it's amazing that I knew that story inside out because it's permeated pop culture.
Yeah.
As you say, there's Simpsons references. We've seen it in so many other films of, an angel comes to earth and shows you what life would be like without you. It's a film that you know without even needing to have seen it because it's everywhere, every Christmas. It's one of those things like A Christmas Carol. The past, present and future is in every TV show that does a Christmas episode. At some point we'll have done one of those because it's the fabric of TV and movies.
And it's wonderfully acted as well, I think. I think the acting's timeless as well. It's not as oldie world as you think it should be from the time it is as well. It doesn't feel
46, is it? I think, yeah. And you are right. You could watch it today and you wouldn't, other than there not being any mobile phones, you wouldn't necessarily see any difference in it. Just an excellent, excellent film. Stu, what have you got?
Yeah, it was 3 for 3. I mean, to be fair, Christmas films kind of started the year we were born, which kind of says everything. That we are
It seemed like it, yeah.
We are the combined second coming, really. But there was the other one, the stop motion Rudolph film, which was just Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which I had to look for. Which was the one that was parodying it in Elf.
Right, with you, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was why that was done, because it was a kind of homage / parody to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which is actually really good. Even if you watch it now, it is stop motion. It's less than an hour, I think. But we used to have it on video. And like everything that's old, like It's a Wonderful Life, I watched it with Grandad, so it was one of them things. But yeah, Rudolph is really good. You more than, it's got to have been remastered by now. But it was one of them things. It was you watch it. I'm guessing that you would have seen it anyway somewhere.
Mm-hmm. I know what it is, and I haven't seen it, but I know what it is because again, it's ubiquitous with, in arm with Christmas.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know what you mean. Where do you stand on 1982's The Snowman? I mean, it's technically a short film, isn't it? 26 minutes.
That's why I didn't
So
put it in.
you-
I didn't put it in.
Would that be up there for you?
Oh yeah, I love that film. That and the other one, Father Christmas. Both of them.
That's the one. Was that the one that was released later, Father Christmas?
Was that a year after? Or you
Oh, I know that.
Yeah,
it was that was
what
the one.
Yeah, with the Snow Dog and Snowman and the Snow Dog they did, which that was like 4 or 5 years ago, was it?
Yeah. Yeah, so Father Christmas is the one. It's the same style. It came out a few years later.
Okay, I don't think I know that one
too. All right.
They used to do it on.
Yeah,
they used to do it back to back some years as well on Channel 4. Normally, it was one of the things that was on Christmas Eve. On Christmas Eve, around about 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yep.
And they put them on back to back. But yeah, the Snowman's great, and that's why when there is a photo, well, I'll find it out of that was when a few years.
There's always a photo of him.
It was when we used to get to the last home game before Christmas, and me and Goldie used to dress up, and the snowman and the boy whose name is James. We went like that, so I obviously had to go in a huge snowman costume, which my mom made out of car seat covers, and it was so hot that I lost half a stone in December through sweat alone. And you got to think when this was probably 2004, 5, something like that.
So you were a grown up when you were doing.
Oh yeah. We went to a pub like this. Obviously the head was removable and everything, but we had this massive suit on, and it wasn't really that cold either, which is annoying. Like that, there's that picture of me, the fairy suit of me. That was a Christmas game as well. Which was my mom's wedding dress as well, which she to be fair, she modified and put little wings on it for me to fit into, and took a panel at the back for me to fit. So that was not but again, she made this one, and I had little speakers sewn into the bottom so that we could walk down the street hand in hand, playing Walking in the Air. Before like fucking Rotherham at Home or something like that. An actual thing that happened.
Yeah, the Snowman was a Christmas Eve tradition for me to try and get through the day. I would try and do anything to get through Christmas Eve when I was a kid. So I'd watch the Snowman, you'd watch films we'll talk about in a minute, and I'd even try and go to sleep. I would just try and get through the day to get to Christmas Day. But I've never worn a snowman costume, and certainly not one made out of car cushion covers or whatever it was that.
I don't know where you but I imagine it would be like me, that you're not one for fancy dress.
No, I've done it once in my life, and I dressed up as Wallace from Wallace and Gromit, because I had a green jumper that I cut the sleeves off, had a white shirt, and I had a red tie. All I had to buy was slippers. Yeah, that's the only time I've ever done it, and that was because all I needed to do was basically wear a shirt, jumper, and tie.
Yeah. When who's got several mentions already, but Gold's stag do in Wolverhampton, it was a wrestling themed one. And to be fair, I owned so many wrestling t-shirts, so all I did was just put on like a flannel shirt over the Mick Foley t-shirt that I had. So I was like, well, this is what Mick Foley wears anyway, and this is what Andrew Gillard wears. So it just so happens, crazy. So yeah, I'm very much in that. Stu, you had a goatee and a Austin 316 shirt, wasn't it? Yeah.
That goatee took a month to grow as well. It's commitment to the cause.
A month.
It did that. I mean, it wouldn't. It'd be like 2 weeks now. Progressed. Actually, bear in mind, I am fucking recording this on my birthday as well. I
was going to get to that. So, but
commitment to the cause on this.
Yeah, well, what can we say? Have you had a good birthday, Stu?
I was trying to think of this. I think it's the first birthday since I was probably about 14 that I haven't had a drink. Because I can't.
That's not bad for you, isn't it?
I thought, this is disgraceful.
And it's fell on a weekend that Wolves haven't ruined it yet.
Oh, well, Wolves haven't ruined it, have they? But, well, I knew that the Jets was going to lose today, so I'm not even mad. I'm just sad. I'm not mad. I'm sad. But I don't even know what I want to happen tomorrow. I'm almost past caring, but I'm not because it still pisses me off.
Yeah, we're never past caring, are we? We want to be, but we never are.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. I mean, they get their fucking one of their strikers goes in a massive car accident, and you just know he's going to come on and score the fucking winner tomorrow because that's the way that Wolves are at the minute.
Yeah, once I knew he wasn't like he hadn't passed, that was my first thought of a joke. Then he's gonna come on and crutches and pop it in the back post, isn't it?
Yeah,
And the fact that he's only got a fractured lower leg is quite amazing, really.
looking at the state of the car, unbelievable. Yeah,
And he was also once dressed as a snowman in a car crash, so we've come full circle.
And he also danced with himself.
Yes, he did the Dirty Dancing lift, wasn't it?
Yeah, he had a cardboard cutout of himself beyond the stand that he played.
don't remember that.
Oh, it was a couple of years ago. This
Yeah,
was.
that was around Christmas time as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, he had a cardboard cutout of himself and he put it behind the advertising hoardings and got it and started doing the Dirty Dancing dance.
The Patrick Swayze stuff.
That's kind of genius, to be fair.
But then he cocked it up and said it was from a different film.
That's unforgivable for me. Like, if you're going to do something like that, you've got to get the film right. Terrible. Right, 90s. Still in the past then. What is the best Christmas film that was released in the 1990s, Stu?
I mean, it was easy because it was Home Alone. Because Home Alone's one of the best films ever. Point blank. But just looking at that list, and it is kind of what I said earlier, that we are kind of the birthing ground for all Christmas films of all kinds. And every single one of them if you just Google 1990s Christmas films, every single one is amazing. Even things like the Long Kiss Goodnight, which shouldn't really be there, but is a great film. And Kiss Kiss Bang Bang as well later on. It's similar kind of vibes to that, but obviously not 90s.
What I will say though, Stu, in that top line, Trapped in Paradise is on there, which is not about Christmas.
I know it is.
I tried to watch that because of you lot and didn't get past 20 minutes.
See, this is a problem. You have to get past the bank part.
I couldn't. I just couldn't.
Horrendous. So bad. I like Dana Carvey, but he's unwatchable in that.
Yep.
Unwatchable. So Home Alone, Stu, what's that, 94, is it? 90? 1990?
Just about.
Jeez. Just sneaking in. Ed, are you going to make it 2 for 2? Or have you got something else?
Almost. The best sequel that's ever been, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. That's my favourite.
All right, you both Home Alone 2. Yeah.
Home Alone 2 and Home Alone has John Candy, so therefore it's ultimately exponentially going to be better than most films ever because John Candy's in it. But Home Alone 2, Lost in New York is my favourite Christmas film, barring A Muppet's Christmas Carol, which is on a stratosphere all of its own, which we'll talk about. I'll talk about in a second. But Home Alone 2 for me is the best sequel that's ever been, and I think it's better than the original.
Ed, look at this that I've just sent you, and then you'll change your mind.
And then Muppet's Christmas Carol is my other answer to this question because it's my favourite musical of all time, and it's just the best Muppets thing that they've ever done. And the Muppets have done loads of good Muppet things. Even the songs are good. There's only the one song that you skip, which was so drab and boring they took it out of the Disney Plus edit.
Put it back now, though.
And yeah, for the listener watching or the listener, sorry, she just sent me the Lego of the house for Home Alone. And the other thing that you can talk about is what the hell did Kevin McAllister's dad do to own and to pay for everyone to go to Paris?
It is incredible. I'm sure he was just like an accountant or something. He
Accountant.
had a good job. Yeah,
Oh,
he had a good job, but it wasn't like the greatest job ever. But yeah, just mental. Makes no sense.
But the Kardashian lawyer.
Yeah, that's it. Someone posted on Twitter recently the pictures inside the house now, and it's all like monochrome. It's all black, white, and grey. It's still recognisable, but it's not it's not the house, and it kind of takes away from. I know it was filmed on a studio set as well, so it was never really the house, but it's still kind of upsetting at the same time to see that it's not in that late 80s, early 90s housing decor.
Have you seen a picture of the studio set?
No.
It's incredible. It's incredible because the whole thing was built in a school hall
Oh wow, okay.
because
They could have a proper set.
they had no money. And if you
No.
read that, there was a probably a YouTube documentary about it, that they had no money. It was, they'd filmed some of it and it was shut down because they ran out of money. And then it changed studio and they carried on and finished it. But they built the set in a school hall because it was disused and they'd have to pay for it.
Was it Warner Brothers gave them 11 million and they'd spent 18, and
Yeah.
Fox came in and gave them the difference, and it ended up like doing nearly 500 million back.
And I'd imagine a lot of that was probably just getting Joe Pesci to do it, right? Because he was pretty much the only real name, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So he was a real baddie as well. That's why I love the Home Alones, because he's a real baddie.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, 1990 we had Goodfellas, which he won the Oscar for, and Home Alone.
Yeah.
It's just, what an incredible 1990 for Joe Pesci. Just outstanding. But I'm with you. I love the sequel. I spoke about it on Heat. One of the main reasons I love New York City. So I want to be Manhattan all the time, because I love that film.
Yeah, I've not been able to tick it off yet. It's the only thing on my bucket list is to go to New York, and it's only because of that film.
I mean, I've done it at Christmas, 2003, I think I went. So I got to see the Rockefeller Christmas tree and stuff. It is kind of amazing, I've got to be honest. It's something to do. I wouldn't recommend going at Christmas time, like most of the time, because it's just too much. But I think if you get a chance to see the Christmas tree, it is worth it.
Yeah, and it's one of the reasons of why I kind of cursed myself for the fucking Jets as well. The whole I mean, I could have gone Giants and that could have been even worse. But yeah, that whole thing, and how it's not just that, it's Miracle on 34th Street as well, and so many New York Christmassy things. It just, I mean, we were talking about this funny enough the other week about how if you went, would it be the same like early December? And I'm guessing it would be.
I went, I flew back on the 9th of December, I think it was, because it was the remembrance of John Lennon's 40th anniversary of his death. I think. Was it 40th? No, it was the 25th, I think. So it would have been 2005 when I went. So it was early December, and yeah, it's worth going then. I think it is.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking then, because you're still you're not losing out on Christmas here, and yeah, I think that's something to write down in the book.
Yeah, definitely. Like, you pay for the fucking arse for it, but
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like I still pay a lot when I go in March. It's expensive all the time. It's just mega expensive as it goes on. But
yeah, but then you earn it back.
Let's see. You ain't going to take it with you, are you? So you might as well get the most of it. My answer was also The Muppets Christmas Carol. I saw it last year on the big screen. I'd never saw it on the big screen when it was first out. But I've seen it so many times because, like you say, it's on Disney Plus, and I think I had it on VHS and DVD at some point. It's such a wonderful, feel-good movie. I love anything with the Muppets in. Like, there's just something about those characters that I just find so appealing, so heartwarming, so beautiful. And we've said it before, the fact that Michael Caine treats those like his actual co-stars, not like they're just Muppets. That's what elevates it from just being silly nonsense into being an actual proper film. It's much like the one they did in 2011 with Jason Segel.
Yeah.
The Muppets film in that. Like, again, he treats them with such reverence. He holds them to such a high esteem that you agree with him. Like, you can't help but love them because of how much he clearly loves them. I think it's such a wonderful, wonderful movie. And seeing it on the big screen last year, I just sat there with a big shit-eating grin on my face the whole movie. I was like, this is just wonderful. I think it's only like an hour and 20 minutes as well. It flies by. I'm kind of disappointed it's not on again this year. But yeah, hopefully it'll be back next year. Fingers crossed.
It's a great world building. I think it feels like you're in London, doesn't it? In Dickensian times, it's such a great. They're so good at world building, and that opening shot and the closing shot where you like see the pan over whatever it is that they're pretending that is London is just incredible. And anything where Miss Piggy gets to say, "I'm gonna raise you right off the street" to Michael Caine is worth it for me.
You are right though, because I mean, something as silly as the Muppets that could easily look like 1970s Doctor Who with cardboard backgrounds and stuff, and it isn't like it feels like you could live in those houses. There's a realism to it that it shouldn't have, and yet it really does. So the final question for Christmas past: what is one moment from your childhood that evokes the strongest sense of Christmas cinema? Ed, what it takes you back to your youth?
Well, it's a bit to touch on what Stu said. It's now seeing all of the what look like awful Christmas movies that come out every year, and it takes you back to. It felt like every year there was a new Christmas film to get excited for. So it's a bit like when you see the only time you ever see adverts for Tia Maria is in December because no one ever buys it any other time. And yeah, it kind of that's what it brings back for me. So it not that I ever really went to the cinema as a kid because it was always it was an expense. So it had to be for a special, treat, and it was a special movie. But now seeing like the onslaught of Christmas movies brings back the nostalgia of these amazing movies that we're talking about now, like the Home Alones and the Muppets Christmas Carol. Having them on video was a big deal. And now you see how many awful Christmas movies are churned out by Hallmark, where you can try and guess the plot of they're awful.
They are awful.
My favorite game is look at the title, try and guess the plot. And if it's called like Operation Drop, it's dropping presents somewhere. It must be. That's what it has to be.
Operation Christmas Drop is a great film on Netflix, by the way.
Yeah, I've watched it. I've sat through it, unfortunately. But that was the one that made me start that game. So that for me is the nostalgia. It's now all the movies that get dragged out now. It gives me the nostalgia back for getting the videos. I would watch Home Alone 2 and Muppets Christmas Carol throughout the year. They were that good enough movies for me. And then Home Alone came out in December, and a few others did, and like Scrooged and everything. But it's now seeing the raft of Christmas movies makes me nostalgic for the better Christmas movies of being a kid, because you also have the giddiness of being a kid wrapped up in all of that as well.
It is weird because it feels like we went through a period of time, like you've pointed out as well, Stu. If you think of the 90s, every single year there was like a tentpole Christmas film and then 2 or 3 other really good films that left their mark. And then we hit like the 2000s and that felt like it dried up. I don't know if it actually did, but it felt like it did. Up until recently, with the rise of the Hallmark and Melissa Joan Hart's reinvention as the queen of Christmas nonsense, it does feel like we have sort of come back to those simpler times.
There's other one. I mean, with the Netflix cinematic Christmas universe as well, which we've launched. Which the new one, I want to mention it now. I can't think of another place for it to go. It's not getting in the best ones. But Hot Frosty is a great film in the sense of this kind of shit. And yet again, it has one scene where it references last year's big Netflix Christmas film. So they are continually connected every single year. I'm not going to say which one it is. Go and watch it for yourselves. But there was a few moments in it, I kind of sniggered to myself. And when it finished, I felt all warm inside. And that's what it does to you. We all know if it wasn't based at Christmas, no one would watch this shit. And it'd be like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. But it's the Christmas magic of it all.
I think that's the reason I can't really knock you for watching this stuff, because I will happily sit through, 20 odd films that are rated 2.5 on IMDb if they're horror. Like, I know I've seen the worst horrors imaginable. So I can't really knock you for sitting through the Christmas version of that schlock. Because it's exactly the same. It's just in the mirror, isn't it? It's in the mirror universe. That's the difference, I think. So yeah, I can't really knock you for it. Stu, what's your childhood evocation? Is that a word?
Mm. We already mentioned it, and it was the snowman.
Mm.
It's like every year. It's like just the fact that it's on all every year. And is it made by Channel 4? I've got a feeling that it is because Americans don't seem to know what it is.
It's at least owned by Channel 4.
Channel 4 owned.
Yeah.
Because it's one of them things that maybe like Charlie Brown. Who the fuck cares about Charlie Brown here?
I know Charlie Brown. I love Snoopy. Yeah.
Yeah, the Snoopy cartoons used to be brilliant.
But it's
Charlie
not,
Brown Christmas, yeah.
yeah, but Charlie Brown Christmas is not it's not a huge. There's people who've got kind of American sensibilities. Like we
It's
have.
niche. I'll
Yeah.
give you that. It is niche.
It's
Yeah.
not massively integrated into everyday life for everyone.
Mhm.
The snowman kind of is. And the fact that you can go into places like Primark and they will have that snowman on PJs and stuff because that's what it is. And it was more a case of seeing it in like the newspaper equivalents of the Radio Times, and when you used to get the Christmas TV listings, and I used to have my own, and I used to go. It's no surprise. I used to have my highlighter pen, and I'd get my highlighter pen and I'd circle what I wanted to watch throughout the week. But when I got Video Plus and I could program it in and record it on its own, oh, that was the life, man. But it was pretty much every year it had that picture of the snowman and the kid on the front because that was the easy one to get you all kind of Christmassy and stuff. And it was. I remember having a lunchbox with that image on of them two. And not Ali Jones and the song and everything like that. It's just them two. And maybe it was an 80s thing. Maybe because it wasn't super commercialized yet. And that was the easy thing because everyone, oh, well, it's a snowman. Everyone's seen that. It's only half hour long. But seeing that, it was like, oh, yeah, I remember because I was obviously mum and dad were at work. So I was at my granddad's. And so it was like that whole thing of us sitting at granddad's and like why I've got a plastic Christmas train. And I went in the loft to get some wood to put the plastic Christmas train there because he had one. And he had a plastic Christmas train that was rubbish. And then the other year, why have you got this on the out as an ornament for? Because it's Christmas. And it's all kind of linked to the snowman. So the snowman is a special piece of media. Let's just call it that because it's neither film nor show.
So, I love the book too. So the book, Raymond Briggs and Father Christmas, the one you were talking about earlier, Stu, was also Raymond Briggs. I had both of them. That was in a double book thing. I still remember it as a kid. It was brilliant. And he did Fungus the Bogeyman as well, which I think
I remember that.
Became a TV show for a bit, I think, as well.
Yeah, I had that book when I was a kid, like from the book club or whatever it was back then. Yeah. Oh wow. The thing that evokes childhood memories for me always, it's technically not the film, rather the soundtrack to Home Alone. Hearing John Williams' music, I think is the most Christmassy thing that's ever been produced. Like you could hear that completely independently of the film and it evokes Christmas immediately for me. And I think it probably would do worldwide.
Yeah.
The theme or Somewhere in My Memories?
The theme, the John Williams theme.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. I think I think it's magical. Like, I think John Williams is a magician, if I'm perfectly honest, because he's made so many just incredible pieces of music. And I can't really listen to anything that is classical. I don't like music that doesn't have singing to it. I like to try and badly sing along to it most of the time. But I will happily sit there and listen to any piece that John Williams wrote for a film because I just think he's got this way that just manages to boil down the essence of anything. And I think he boiled down the essence of Christmas to its purest form in that. So just hearing that song, that will always do it for me, I think. I think it's just wonderful. Right, okay, so that's us done this week. We'll be back next week where we'll be talking about Christmas present. So for this week, Stu, would you like to say goodbye?
Goodbye, everyone. I'll be drinking soon.
Ed, would you like to say goodbye?
Yep. See you all on the next one.
And it's goodbye from me. And remember, be excellent to each other.